Hi there, this is Dr. Rachel Alioto. Today I'm talking about sleep. Sleep is one of the most common challenges that us as humans have. People have a hard time falling asleep, staying asleep, waking up feeling really tired, or just not getting enough sleep. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each one of these and what I recommend as a naturopathic doctor. So first of all, getting enough sleep. That is key. Sleep is where we rest, we rejuvenate, we heal, we support cellular function, immune function, our brain function. Everything gets better when we sleep enough. And for adults, I recommend 7 to 9 hours every night. Now, some of you may be thinking, I only get 5 or 6 hours, or I get 4 and I'm fine. But imagine how much better you'd feel if you got more sleep. So to me, sleep is where we really need to prioritize our health and healing. And I promise you, you will feel better if you get more sleep. The next challenge though is I have a hard time sleeping. I can't fall asleep and I definitely can't stay asleep. So let's talk a little bit about each of those. Falling asleep. If you have a hard time falling asleep, it could be due to anxiety, caffeine, external stressors. It could be due to environmental issues like sound or other people in your home. It could be due to your children. So how do we support ourselves in falling asleep? Well, melatonin is the hormone that helps us to fall asleep. Now, that does not mean that I recommend to take melatonin supplementation. What I really want to do is support your melatonin naturally. So how do we support your natural increase in melatonin at night? Well, the very first thing would be darkness. Dimming your lights or reducing screen time, especially at night, really does help with melatonin production. What we know about melatonin is that it naturally increases in the darkness and it has an inverse relationship with cortisol. So if you have high cortisol, which is your stress hormone, at night, then you can't really have a high amount of melatonin too, because they're opposite. So if you have high cortisol at night or have high anxiety, that can really be impacting your natural ability of melatonin production. So what do? Well, I guess we could take melatonin, but what are some other things that we can do on a nightly basis that really helps calm our nervous system? Again, it might be dimming our lights. It might be turning off screens an hour earlier. It might be using some sleepy time tea or meditation. It might be a bath or a shower. It might be some light movement and stretching. There's all sorts of different ways to support your melatonin, but really comes down to what is going to work for you. What is going to calm your nervous system? So supporting melatonin at night and calming your nervous system is key to helping your body fall asleep. Now, if you're having ruminating thoughts, there are, of course, some things that we can utilize naturopathically, such as homeopathy or other sleepy herbs. But before we even get there, because I don't want to give medical advice over YouTube, I just want you to implement some regular nighttime practices to help calm your nervous system. So that's number one. Now, what about staying asleep? Super common, right? I have a lot of, especially menopausal women, they tend to wake up between 2 and 4 or between 4 and 5 a.m. and they can't fall back asleep. But this comes with all ages and all different types of people, right? We can be in high school and have a hard time staying asleep. We can be in college and have a hard time staying asleep. And then we can be elderly and have a hard time staying asleep. One of the number one causes of sleep disruption I find is actually cortisol spikes. So we just talked about cortisol and melatonin having an inverse or opposite relationship. Well, think about if your cortisol spikes overnight, then you might wake up. Why does that happen? Well, there's another relationship between cortisol and your blood sugars, blood glucose. And when your blood glucose drops, which it can overnight because we're fasting overnight, right? We're not eating meals during the night, generally. If your blood sugar drops, your cortisol will spike to bring that blood glucose back up and it'll wake you up. So the key here is we must keep our blood sugar stable overnight to avoid the cortisol spikes. That would look like having a little bit of protein snack before bed. That could be half a protein shake. It could be a cheese stick. It could be maybe a slice of turkey or a little bit of full protein yogurt. Something like that, not a big meal, just a little snack to help keep our blood sugar stable. Other causes of waking in the middle of the night are hormone changes. So I did mention menopause, but this can happen at any age and any person. Right? If your hormones are really erratic and imbalanced, they can wake you up during the night. So what we really want to do is we want to go in and figure out where our hormones are imbalanced and rebalance those as naturally as possible. That may mean supplementation, that may mean nutritional changes, it may also mean some exogenous bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So hormones can be a cause. Outside of blood sugars, stress can also be a cause. So it may be your cortisol spiking, but not because your blood sugar dropped, but just because you're stressed and your cortisol is spiking and it's causing anxiety and rumination at night. That can also happen. So what we want to do at bedtime then is decrease cortisol. So keep it more stable overnight. That's really key. Other causes could be alcohol use or substance abuse or use. Generally speaking, between 2 and 4 a.m. is our liver time. So if our liver is working really hard, we can be up between 2 and 4 in the morning. So it might mean that we need to change our habits. It might mean that we need to support our liver. It doesn't mean that we have liver disease or anything of that sort. It could just mean the liver needs a little bit of support. There are various herbs and nutritional changes that we can do to support the liver. But in the meantime, let's assess what we're utilizing. Is it hard on the liver? And can we reduce that use? Or can we engage in some detoxification practices such as a sauna or sweating by running or walking? Something like that to support detoxification can go a long way before we even turn to supplements or cleanses or detoxes. Other causes of waking in the middle of the night, again, would be environmental factors, such as having a family member that wakes in the middle of the night frequently, like a baby. It could be loud noises if you live in the city. It could be weather. So these are all causes that sometimes we don't have a whole lot of control over, but it's valuable to recognize why your sleep is disrupted. Now, the other piece about sleep is sometimes we sleep enough and we still feel tired. And it's a little bit of a different topic because it's likely that either we're just not getting enough deep sleep, which is possible, but it's more likely that there's something else causing fatigue. If it's something that it's like no matter how much you sleep, you're still tired. And even if you wake feeling tired, that really could be something else. That could be nutritional imbalances. That could be the thyroid. That could be the adrenals. That could be emotional stress. It could be pain. There's all sorts of causes of fatigue, and that's a different topic which we will get into. But in terms of sleep, again, aim for 7 to 9 hours every night. Assess your blood sugars by possibly having a little protein snack before bed. Help calm your nervous system, reduce stress, and support melatonin. And if needed, use some sleepy time tea or other calming practices to support your system's ability to have restful sleep. If you have questions, please comment, please reach out. That is why I am here. If you have any questions about sleep or energy or anything that I mentioned in this video, please let me know. And in the meantime, I hope that this helps with some sleep strategies for you, and I'll be back for more. And if you're ready to get started with me, send me a message, visit my website, or call me. I'm here for you.